What's up everybody, Daster D here, and I'm coming back at you with another video. Now in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys about the time that I was greened out on edibles at a demolition derby and I passed out and embarrassed everybody there. Now, if you haven't seen my other videos, make sure to go check those out and like and subscribe please. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Now this happened about 2 to 3 years ago now, I would say, and this is when I was first getting into my drug use, I guess you would call it. So I think I did acid one singular time at this point, and I had like maybe 3 experiences with edibles overall. And so at this point I was going and I was pretty inexperienced with any type of drugs like this, and yeah, I was not ready. So I ended up, we had a plan. We were me and my buddy. Let's call him Steve. Me and my buddy Steve and my other buddy. Let's call that dude John, I guess. We went and got. We decided we were going to go to my buddy's demolition derby and watch him run the demolition derby. So he goes and picks me up, and at this point I didn't really know, but his car's muffler, I think he had a hole in the muffler at that point, and we were driving up the road and that thing sounded like it was about to explode. So we pull into the demolition derby and we find our parking spot, and he pulls out a bag of gummies. Now there was 2 different types of gummies in this bag. There was round, like sugary looking ones, and they were multicolored. So we take these, and we each take one, I think, because there was only 3 or 4 in the bag at the time. And he pulls out this other bag that had green, like really dark green gummies in it. Now, these were the ones that were like extra strong, and he got them homemade from his buddy or something like that. The other ones he said he got from a guy who mounted his deer, which was kind of funny. Now, so we ended up eating one of those, and I ended up eating one of the gummies, the gummy bears. And I take them, and about a half an hour passes, and we're sitting in the grandstands watching these say, like, I guess cars crash into each other. I don't really remember much about this. It's kind of hard recounting the story in general. Come on, let me shoot you. Fuck. Okay. So we end up taking those 2 and sitting in the grandstands, and I start feeling it. And when I get the munchies off the edibles, it gets bad. I eat anything in the vicinity. So I turn over to my buddy Mike and I say, "Hey man, you got anything to eat, dude? I'm getting the munchies." And he pulls out the bag of gummy bears. Now I knew at this time that those gummy bears were edibles, and I didn't give a fuck. I was fiending. I needed food bad. So he gives me the gummy bears, and I start eating the gummy bears. And I pop 1, I pop 2, and I ended up popping 7 gummy bears in a row. And I think it was 7. Let's just say it was 7. And so I eat the gummy bears, and I start, the first one starts to hit me. Now when that first one started to hit me, I was like, damn, I think this was a bad idea, dude. Because that first gummy bear was already strong as shit, and I didn't realize it until after I took the other 7. So I'm sitting there, high off my ass, sitting in the grandstands on, like, I would say it was a 20 degree today. It was freezing cold outside. Okay, it was freezing cold outside, and I just took 7 edibles. Now, the world started, if you ever, like, taken edibles before, the world's just, like, you take too many edibles and you're kind of just fucked. So, I take those edibles, the world's fucking spinning around me, and my buddy taps me on the shoulder. I think it was Steve, we called him. My buddy Steve taps me on the shoulder, and he tells me, dude, we gotta go. The demolition derby's over. And I go, and I'm thinking to myself, shit, dude, I can't stand up right now. I can't even think right now. My vision was so blurry, like the world was spinning around me. And I knew I couldn't stand up, but we had to go. So I started to stand up. And as soon as I stood up, my knees crumpled under me and I just fucking fell over, knocked my head on the side of the bench, and passed out for about 3 to 5 minutes, let's say. I don't remember the exact time I passed out for, but I woke up and this dude had me on his lap. And he was like slightly tapping me on the face and I could feel his like little rubber glove on me. Now, I was really confused at that point because I'm like, who's wearing rubber gloves in like negative 20-degree weather? And then I realized it was the guy who was on standby. Like the dude sitting at the demolition derby in case somebody's like car sets on fire and they need medevac. And then I realized, oh shit, dude, people saw me pass out. and that's when I started realizing how bad the situation was. So my buddy Steve is standing over me, and John's standing over me, and they're just looking at me concerned. And I look up at the dude, and he's asking me if I'm all right. And I realize that I passed out, and he's telling me the medevac guy. He's telling me that he needs a stretcher over here. And then I start thinking, I'm like, dude, an ambulance costs like frickin' $3,000. I ain't getting on this fucking stretcher. So I managed to just bolt straight up. I stand dead ass straight up immediately. And so I stand up straight up immediately, and I tell the medevac guy that I'm perfectly fine, nothing's really happening. And he said I needed to go, I still needed to go to the ambulance to get checked out and everything, see if I actually was okay. So they pull me over to the ambulance. Well, everybody is still in the stands. I didn't realize it, but we didn't have to go at that exact moment. I just believed that we needed to go at that exact moment. Everybody was still sitting in the grandstands at the time I passed out and smacked my face on the fucking bench. So everybody's sitting there and staring at me, freaking passed out on the like ground, and this medevac dude's over me, and I get up and I tell him I'm good, and he takes me over and he makes me sign the thing, the waiver to get away from the ambulance and everything. And John and Steve come and pick me up and bring me back home. Now, I gotta say, it's a fun story to tell. It wasn't a fun story to live, because we ended up getting McDonald's on the way back. I got a McChicken, and I was high for like 2 days afterwards. It was not a very fun experience, and I gotta say it was about 2 out of 10 on the fun scale, because the first part of the high was a little bit fun, and then I passed out. So if you enjoyed that video, like and subscribe. Make sure to check out some of my other videos if you want. And that's about it, I'd say. See ya. Oh, man.